Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're just watching my videos for the very first time, you're very much welcome, and I'm so happy and glad to have you on my channel today. My name is Antonia, popularly called Tonia, and I'm a 400 level student of the Department of Medical Rehabilitation, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, or UNN, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, but I'm at Enugu campus. So I want to tell you about my entire finding an apartment journey, right from 100 level to 400 level. So once you get admitted as a medical student, whether it's medicine and surgery or radiography or medical rehabilitation, nursing, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and others that I can't remember at this point, what happens is that you begin your 100 level in Nsukka. Then after 100 level, you cross over to Enugu campus to complete your 200 level, 300, 400, 500, and 600 level accordingly. So no one really told me that getting an off-campus apartment is actually really expensive in Enugu. But then again, I didn't really have it in mind to get an off-campus apartment. So my plan was actually to stay in the hostel till I graduate. But then no one really told me the truth actually about getting a hostel. So I didn't know that the hostel would not even be enough to accommodate everyone. I thought it would be enough for everyone. But then in 100 level, after I got admission, I was told just pay your school fees. Once you pay your school fees, once the hostel portal is open, you just log in and you get your hostel. That's what I was told. I actually paid my school fees very early on time, and once the portal was open, I logged in immediately. But for some reason, I couldn't access the portal, and so before I knew it, all the best spaces were gone. Like, people had already gotten the entire hostel, and so I was stranded. I resumed very late because I couldn't get an apartment on time. So how was I able to actually get an apartment off campus? Because I had no option. I was stranded. I didn't know anybody in Nsukka. I had no friends, I had no relatives, nobody at all. So how was I going to get an apartment off campus? So I met a guy who was the one that helped me print my post-UTME result. Then he did all these freshers, he had all these freshers WhatsApp group. So he connected me to someone that already has an apartment in Hilltop then at Nsukka. So she said she paid 120,000 for the room, and so I'm supposed to balance her 60,000, but then she added an extra 10,000 and said it was agency fee. So I was stranded at that point. That didn't make sense to me, but at that point I just wanted to resume school, so I agreed to pay her the 70k, and I settled the guy that introduced me to her, that acted as an agent. I settled him with 5k, or was it 10k? I'm not really sure, but then I paid a total of at least 80k in 100 level. So that was it for my 100 level. I got accommodation, and that wasn't really the best option because I thought about it right now. What if she had actually failed me? What if she didn't show up that day? How would I have coped? Because I literally came that day with my box, my food stuff, a very big Ghana must go bag that contained everything I came. And if to say she did not show up that day, my dear, I didn't know anybody, or I would have stayed at that. I would have gotten stranded. I don't know where I would have slept that day, but thank God that she actually showed up. Although we didn't have the best experience as roommates, but she showed up, and I'm grateful for that. So when it was time for me to cross over, or for us to cross over to Enugu, I had the same thought to get a hostel, and I repeated the same thing. I got stranded all over again. And then when it was time to get an apartment, that was when I discovered that getting an apartment in Enugu is actually very choking. I literally searched for an apartment for over 2 months, and I could not find something that was good that fit into my budget. Do you know, the thing with finding an apartment in Enugu is your money actually, because the thing that was stopping me then was the agent fee, the management fee, the caution fee, the legal fee, the everything, and they were in hundreds. So I finally got an apartment today. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. I took one. My first apartment in Enugu, like I said, was a 2-bedroom flat. I took one room, two people took the other room, and we converted the parlor to a room as well. Two people stayed there. And God, we paid 500,000. No, it's more than 500,000 we paid as first payment. Whereas the normal house rent is 250,000. So imagine we popped an extra more than 250k to get that room. And we eventually left because we experienced a lot of things. Like today we'll see snake, tomorrow we'll see rat. In fact, every single day we're seeing different kinds of animals, centipede, millipede. We're living close to a water canal, so all these things were happening. And the thing that actually eventually pushed us to actually leave was we had light issues. Our landlord did not get a meter, so it was a tenant that had actually gotten the meter, and so we were literally paying 5k at that point every. All these things actually affected my academic life. It had a very huge toll on my academic life. My results were not good. I couldn't read, I couldn't sleep. It affected me a whole lot. And that light issue, that was during the period of my second MBBS, second PhD exams, and so I had to find a new apartment. And the agent fee, 100k, caution fee, 100k, legal fee, was actually very scary for me, because at this point I had already exhausted most of my personal savings. And my husband, oh my God, I'm so grateful to have him in my life. Actually, he came through for me. Like, he came through for me in ways I cannot say. Like, if not for my husband, my dear, if not for my husband, Kai. But now, right now, I'm staying in a selfcon, and it took me a whole lot of time and energy before I searched for a new apartment for over 1 month in Enugu, but I could not find a good one. I would see a house of 500k to pay 200k, and God, it didn't even look like it didn't look worth the price to me. Some apartment I'll see it and it's actually good, but students living there would insist that I buy their wardrobe 100,000, I buy their television stand, I buy their bed stand, I buy this, buy that, and you end up seeing 700k to pay 200k, and it wasn't really making sense to me until I searched for a long period of time, until I met one agent. He's a nursing student, and I was able to get this self-con. So my first apartment, the bedroom flat, all of us were sharing one toilet and one bathroom. All of us were sharing one kitchen. Like, we were more than God. At that point, my husband has already given me the budget to look for, but I was not getting houses that are even worth the price until I finally got this apartment. So right here, I paid 410,000 as my initial, and I was told then that the normal rent is 200,000. So the normal rent 200k, 100k went to the for management, then 100k for the agent. I was lucky here. There was no legal fee. There was no no legal fee, no caution fee, and all other fees that usually come with houses in Enugu. So I quickly got in, and I'm going to show you the before look of my house when I got it and what I transformed it into. My husband really spent a lot to get me this. So my room is not that it's so simple. I just have my bed, my fan, my standing fan, my solar fan, my wardrobe. Is a very simple, minimalistic room for a student, and I'm very careful not to buy a lot of things here because I'll be moving out very soon, and I don't want the stress of having to sell off properties or having to move things from Enugu to my house in Ogun State. So I'm not really keen on buying a lot of things. So once I graduate and I move over to Ogun State, that's where I'm going to invest in a lot of things. So join me as I show you what my simple apartment, and I'm trying as much as possible to be realistic because let's face it, face it, we're actually students. We came here, or I actually came here mostly for my school, and if probably I'm going to stay back in Enugu, then I'll start investing a lot of things. But since I don't plan on remaining here, I just stick to a very simple look. So come with me as I show you the before and the after look of my simple room in Enugu. So I'm staying at Maryland. I'm not staying in College Road. I'm staying at Maryland. And Marylanders, you know what we are facing, right? Okay. So stay with me. And I know some people will be asking, Maryland or College Road, which one is actually very close to school? Honestly, the both of them are close to school, but then it's depending on because if you are living in Maryland, you go trek because you have no option unless you are going to be chartering keke every time to take you to Bargate. And even if you get to Bargate, we don't have shuttle at that Maryland Bargate side, so you have to trek to your department if you are living at Maryland. But at College Road, there is keke, there is bus. You can enter keke, drop you at school gate. At school gate, there is still shuttle that will take you inside school. So the choice is yours. I actually prefer to stay in Maryland because I feel more comfortable, more connected with
This is
staying
actually
in
how my room
Maryland
looked like before I repainted it. It was actually very, very dark. Anytime I did video call with my husband, he will literally be telling me, "Are you sure they painted this your room at all? Why is it looking so dark?" You know, it was so dark, and God, I didn't even realize how dark it was until I actually repainted it. That's when I realized, whoa, it's like you were living in darkness. So I bought this full paint bucket, white paint. I bought it for 10,000 naira at Kenyatta Market. Yeah, the name is Victory Paint. I just went to the market I don't even have an idea about paint, and I guess God just directed me because this paint was actually very sweet, very okay, very lovely. And my painter told me to buy this filler for the wall, and so he used it in some part of the wall that had holes to fill up the holes. And the painter is actually, or should I say, I think he has graduated from nursing as well. And so he charged me 8,000 to repaint my room. And I'm not kidding you, this room is actually large and that price is actually very fair. So this was him painting it, and here he's done. I'm trying to wash away the stains of the paint from my floor. I used water, I used omo, I used my broom. Then finally I cleaned off everything, and that was all. So now it's review of my apartment. So if you are coming from the door, the first thing you see is my bedroom, and it's actually very, very small. I'm not kidding you. And the next door you will see is my kitchen door, and although my kitchen is small, I actually love it. So my pots, my kettle, everything here was bought by my mom, and the rest every other thing was given by my senior sister. This is how bright and beautiful my room looks like. So I have my bed, my 2 fans, the nail where I hang my bags, and when I open up my curtain, this is how it looks like. So I drop my things by my bed there, and this is my table. Although I didn't really show it, but that's where I place my table and my chair. So I recorded another video to give you a full view, and this is what it looks like. That's my table and my chair. That's where I usually place it, my wrapper, my pure water and everything. So just looking at it, this is how it looks like once you are at the door. Once you are looking at my room from the door, this is exactly how it looks like. And I forgot to show you guys my wardrobe, so I quickly did a video this night, and I just have a few clothes in my hanger. And that's my sister's oven, and my big Ghana must go, my bed once again, because of course that's where I rest.
So I said and you can actually take keke. I just remembered from Maryland, but you spend a whole lot of money because you take keke to Timber first, then from Timber you pay 200 naira to school gates. Now it's depending on which side you are even living. If you are living inside Maryland, that means you still take keke to come outside. If you are living in that side that is close to Ugaji, that means you still take keke to get to Timber. So my dear, count your cost too. But the choice is still yours. If you have any question about getting a place to stay in UNEC, University of Nigeria Enugu campus, you can drop it and I'll do a video to answer all your questions. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around.